See you later, you annoying fucks!
Hey, you let Eggman get away! You won't get away with this!
Well, if it's not Mario and Sonic like it's been done many times before, now we come to our next interesting pair-up, Luigi versus Tails. Now, I'll admit, the setup for this one, at least as far as how the fighting starts, could have gone a little bit better. I mean, Luigi is using that one to suddenly just jump into the fray without knowing what's going on. That's not usually his style, especially considering that he didn't know who was really know who the bad guy was here. I mean, if he didn't know who Eggman was, really, like if it was just somebody because, you know, Tails was holding up a guy at gunpoint, I mean, I kind of get that, but yet at the same time, I don't know. The setup of the fight could have been done a little bit better. And on about that, I think that this one, if I'm not mistaken, does take place from one of the other fights done previously when they did, I think it was first it was a matchup between Shadow and Vegeta, when Shadow was trying to track down and stop/capture Eggman. And then, of course, Silver was also in the fray and got involved, but he got tangled up with Trunks. So it was like DBZ versus Sonic done there a couple times. But I think at that point, I guess the DBZ gang had pretty much, you know, flown away, and it was just, you know, Nintendo and Sega from the rest from there. Be that as it may, the fight itself was pretty fun. I decided for Tails, Sonic. No, she's not known as. No, she's not known as that. Starchild Orko was very interested in attempting the voice of Tails, which, by the way, I still feel she done pretty well. She did way more than what I expected, even. And I would, if I was to ever do a project again in the future with her as Tails, I'd gladly have her aboard to do so. Yeah, definitely a fun one. And if I were to make one change, and this was something she kind of had the idea, and I didn't think much of it at the time because I thought it was enough with what I had for what you've seen, but perhaps, and I actually do implement this in a later episode, we'll touch on that when we get to that point, where she wanted to add more emotions and extra sound clips and stuff during the fights. Now, at the time, I didn't really bother with doing those because I thought the episode itself provided enough. But again, it would be an idea that I would touch up on in a later episode. I would have that's probably the only change I would have done, and try to do some. It would have taken a bit more editing to get it done right. But yeah, that's probably the only change I would make. But other than that, I thought this was a fun dub to do. Definitely top notch.
Hi everybody, this is Starchild Orko, or Sonic Chick 1 if you remember my old moniker. I'm coming to you from what used to be my old bedroom. Since I have moved out in recent years, this is now my father's kind of den toy area, but I'm currently in between moving right now, so it's a reason why it's like everything's kind of disheveled. You're seeing a little bit of parts where it's like it's my dad's stuff, and then it's like my stuff, as you can see the switch behind me. So, but yeah, this, face reveal, if you've not seen it before. You probably may have seen my face before on Sonic Song 182's Sonic videos, where I've helped out in a couple of the live stream chats in which we were able to do like face reveal and all that. So for all of you, for Ark's channel, yeah, this is probably the first time seeing my face. So yes, hi. So Ark wanted me to come on and voice my opinions on what he's been doing recently with the 1 Minute Melee fandom reflections that he's done over the past years with 1 Minute Melee fan dubbing of that series in general. Since the series was originally on Screw Attack until they decided to do their own thing with the Death Battle X as opposed to their regular Death Battle. So, and then it went on to be like its own little sprite matchup series. After that, so I had Ark ask me, a few questions about about my experiences, at least with the matchup between Luigi versus Tails, which I helped him out with voicing Tails in that episode, and then I helped him out again with another one he's going to do a reaction, not a reaction, a reflection of, which is the Bowser versus King Dedede, in which I helped him out with Bowser Jr. in that. So I'm not sure if he's going to ask me to come on to do a reflection for that, so... But right now we have I told him if he can give me like a few questions on at least Luigi versus Tails in general with this one. And how did I feel about, voicing Tails in that one. So, his first question was, when did you first experience the 1 Minute Melee series? Now, it was just mainly through Ark, because it's just, I watch sometimes Death Battle and Death Battle X, but it's really the matchups that I'm interested in seeing. Like, on top of my head, what I remember, the episodes that I did enjoy. He-Man versus Lion-O, because I'm a big He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fan, so of course I was rooting for He-Man on that one. Let's see, Deadpool versus the Mask. I thought that was a very interesting matchup, and of course their Death Battle's running joke with, having Deadpool on for Death Battle matchups. And then, Red and Charizard versus Agumon and Tai. And I was cheering for Tai and Agumon because I'm a big Digimon fan as well. And but it could have gone either way, that matchup, until I remembered what War Greymon is as a Digimon, as a Mega level Digimon, which I didn't take that into account. And if you've seen that episode of Death Battle, you know how it goes from there. So it was mainly through Ark that I knew what the 1 Minute Melee series was. But like I said, I'm only interested in like certain matchups of characters. So if it was like, for instance, for this 1 Minute Melee, Guile versus Captain America. That sounds interesting, but since I'm more of the Street Fighter fan and I don't really enjoy Guile as a character in Street Fighter, it's like, that wouldn't be an interesting of a matchup for me, to be quite honest. So as far as my experience with 1 Minute Melee, it's mainly from what Ark has basically shown me. Like, if we ever talk on Skype or Discord sometimes, we would, share videos of stuff with, say, oh, hey, check this out. And if we want to do, like, our own personal reactions to it, So that's how I know about the 1 Minute Melee series. But I know it used to be on Screw Attack before it just basically spun off on its own. So, what are your thoughts towards it compared to Death Battle? That's the next question. I guess you could say it's a little more friendlier version than, let's say, Death Battle and its sister, or its companion series, Death Battle X, more so with Death Battle X, because that's more just putting the characters together, no type matchups or anything like that, just let there be bloodshed. It's basically what they said before, but they since got an announcer for it, so okay. At least just to give them a rundown of who these characters are and all that, but nothing as much as just like, oh, it's not going to be like who wins based on logistic value. So this is more just like, oh hey, it's pairing up against each other. It could be either or that wins. So it's just you just leave it up to your imagination, you know, or leads up to your decision who's going to win. You might be surprised at you know, who wins and who doesn't win. So that's my thought towards it compared to Death Battle and Death Battle X. So his next question is, what did you think of the Luigi versus Tails fight overall? So I think for that episode, I'm not sure if there was an ongoing, like, I know some of the 1 minute melees, they kind of intertwine with each other. So I'm not entirely sure if that was part of something, like maybe something having to do with Mario vs. Sonic, I'm not entirely sure. So, but of course that's another common matchup to have Luigi and Tails, you know, pit against each other because they are, you know, they're basically the sidekicks to the two main characters. So it's just almost like, you know, a no-brainer as far as to have them have the the matchup that they have. So if you want one more bloodshed, you go with Death Battle X. But if you want to just, you know, have a fun fight, whatever kind of, you know, story concept that you have for the particular episode, that's basically what the Luigi versus Tails fight was. Because much like they did twice with the Mario vs. Sonic matchup with Death Battle, you could pick either or character. And besides that, it's not like, you know, yeah, Luigi got knocked out, but he wasn't like killed or anything like that. So yeah, I thought the fight was fine overall. Yeah, the fight was fine. Yeah, the fight was fine. There may have been something missing if there was like a ongoing story element to it, like I said before. So the next question was, what did you like or dislike about the dubbing for it? So I'm trying to remember how I did the lines, because I think I still have the lines saved, but or saved on me. I do try to save whatever I've worked on as far as voices is concerned. I know there's a lot I have missed from having my old hard drive, because I know I got plenty of lines on there, and I've only got like some that I've saved in recent years on my current external hard drive now. But I think I remember I wanted to go, for one thing is, if you all know me from doing the voice of Cream for Sonic Song 182's Sonic videos, I only do the character Cream on that. Although you have heard me done like vanilla for some of the stuff before as well. I just play both Cream and her mother. It's just, you know, interchangeable there, because I also can do a motherly voice if need be. That's just what I get complimented as. I either do the really cutesy, you know, kid voices, or basically the motherly kind of voice. Almost silky smooth, but nothing too sultry like Rouge, although I would like to take a stab at that. But for this one, when Ark asked me to do Tails, I thought like, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to try to take a crack at another character, because I can do other characters other than Cream and Vanilla, because I know I need to get around to doing like a demo reel of Sonic voices I can do, because it's like, I can do Cream, as you've already heard me do. I can do Vanilla, although I want to probably tweak her voice a little bit, because that's more of the off-the-cuff thing they wanted me to do for Vanilla the couple times they had me do it. Amy, Tails, Charmy, whatever kind of like young boy to girl voices I can do. And I just thought it was a good opportunity for me to do Tails, because you know, I have not done Tails for other stuff before. And looking back on the video since that fan dub premiered, and it's been a few years, I thought I did really good with Tails, or I think the voicing of the Tails in this actually aged pretty well. Um, but what? So I did like how I did Tails, because I tried to have it to where it was, I didn't want him to sound like too young, because, yeah, have you heard his voice in Sonic Heroes? Not the best voice of Tails out there. But I didn't want him to be too breathy, if you want to go that way. So I wanted to be like a happy medium between the two. And I thought I did a really good job with that after hearing it after these few years since I recorded those lines. Another memory I did have with it, they said about any dislikes with the video. And I'm sorry, Ark, I'm gonna have to admit this, but I think I probably admitted this to you in text, like those few years ago when you premiered the video. But I think it's just like, I gave you more lines for Tails. Why didn't you use them? I know. I think he replied back saying it's just like he didn't really feel like, editing in all those, voice effects that I did for, because I did like voice effects for basically all the action parts that Tails getting smacked around, shocked and all that. I did all those. And Ark did not use any of them. He just used whatever lines that I had. Whatever of the actual, dialogue that I recorded. So, initially I was a little miffed at that. And I admitted him to that, when I messaged him after I saw the premiere of the video. But I think after, now, rewatching it after those few years, you know what? It's not as bad as my initial thoughts on it. Because I think I also reacted just like, oh hey, they may have not been my best takes that Ark used, but in hindsight, it actually was pretty good. So, in retrospect, I think Ark made the good move of not editing in those extra effects. It could have been me trying too hard, although I don't think it was too hard for me because I wanted to liven up, what it was for, a sprite animated fight. But I respected Ark's decision with that, so. But I do remember that was something that did irk me about, that did irk me initially, but now it's actually not so bad in retrospect. And then his last question was, what do you like to see dubbed in the future? Now, since I did say I don't usually follow 1 Minute Melee that much, I don't really have a definitive answer for that one. It's just, I guess really the truthful answer is just, if it's anything, that probably would be if Ark is working on something that he's wanting to work on, and if it seems interesting to me, then yeah, I'll reach out to him to ask for help. Just like right now, we're working on doing a fan dub of Asailus Goji 91's Heroes of the Stars series, which or sprite animation series, because I remember, I think I pitched that to Ark like years ago, from the episodes that I've seen of, Heroes of the Stars. The ones that, no offense to him, I know probably English is probably his second language. Don't take any offense if it Asailus, but initially from those first few episodes, it was like so many English grammar issues that I just couldn't really stomach trying to, pay attention to the plot. But when it got to be about like the 4th, 5th episode, then I'm just like, okay, I'm sold. I'm sold on the concept, because basically that one is just a story that's gathering all sorts of the plots from both Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi RPG series. And it's just like, I like both those series. This is such a cool concept. Also, you don't see much of Bowser being the hero other than the initial game Bowser's Inside Story. So I just thought like, oh, I gotta get Ark to help, or at least help me out someday. Even if I got a helm being like the director of it and all that. But luckily, that's not the case. I don't have to worry about that. So I guess it would be if Ark presents me with something that, you know, he's asking for my help on, you know, much like what I have done with Ark for years. If I'm interested in helping out with him, you know, I would do that. That's basically how, you know, this matchup came to be, but it had a little bit more to it because it's just, you know, I can do more Sonic voices than what you hear in Sonic Song 182's Sonic videos. And this was just the opportunity for me to show off that. So maybe if you ask me to do more of, you know, Sonic sprite related stuff in the future, like maybe asking me to do Amy, just basically any of the other Sonic females, the ones I can take a stab at actually, and then I would do that. So I think that's the best I can ask this question, really. As far as any other thoughts for this video, or for this reflection, I think. Oh, with Ark doing Eggman, I thought he did just fine as Eggman. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I did tell him before, like, he did a fine job as Eggman. Yeah, he did fine as Eggman. I guess I just had in my brain, it's just like, well, wait, have I heard other people take a shot at Eggman? Of course I have. And does it match up to, you know, what he does is what he did as far as Eggman voices is concerned? Have I heard better? Maybe Once Upon a Time, but I think he does just fine with Eggman now, because I haven't heard much people take a stab fan-dub-wise with Eggman, or at least from projects that I'm familiar with. So, yeah, I think that's all I really need to say about this reflection video, or at least my thoughts on it. So yeah, thanks Ark for at least giving me an idea of what to say for this reflection video, because as you can hear, if I did this more off the cuff, it'd be a lot more ums. So, if it's not much already. So just having these questions presented to me just gave me, more of a structure for me to try to, express my feelings of this reflection of the Luigi versus Tails matchup with 1 Minute Melee. So, not sure if you're going to catch me again with the matchup between Bowser and King Dedede with the Bowser Jr. cameo in it. So we'll just see how that goes. So thanks for having me on for this little reflection of this episode of 1 Minute Melee, and I'll probably catch everybody later. So bye everybody. Hope you all have a good rest of your holidays. Bye!
Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep on gaming.